2011 Polo World Cup pre-tournament show. Jeremy Hatchin from New Zealand, joined by Matthew Hintz from Germany. We're here to analyze the games of the tournament, specifically tomorrow's big matches and throughout the tournament. So first, Matt, let's talk about the first game tomorrow, Australia versus Ghana.
Quite an opening match to start off the tournament with. You got the powerhouse, the hosts in Australia, coming in looking hot from last summer. They made it all the way to the finals and just fell just that bit short in claiming the cup.
That's true. Who do you think the player to watch in this next game is going to be?
It'll be tough. I mean, both teams have tremendous talent. Many players that can shape and take control of the game. But me personally, I've always been a big fan, and that would be Chase Haislip, the captain of the host country.
Winner of the Phil Collins Cup last year.
Yes. Took home the Phil Collins Cup. Very proud of that accomplishment. But the way he moves in the pool, he's fast, he's a good swimmer, he's strong, but he controls the game. And you don't see that by a lot of players. Someone who can control the game. It's
good. And I think most people at home and in this tournament are going to think that Australia is definitely going to take this win home with them. What do you think the keys to victory for Ghana are?
See, like I said, when you watch out for Haislip, they're going to need to key on him and try and shut him down. Because the way he controls, if he can stop controlling the game, if you can force him to stop playing the style he plays, he'll be advantaged. But the problem is, if you key too many players on him, Australia's got a wide team with lots of talent, so you got the likes of Chris Morrow in there, Kenny Varner.
Right.
Both those guys can light up the pool. So if you have all three of them in there at once, you just can't take one of them out. It's tough. You got to constantly rotate your double teams, and work on who's guarding him.
Yeah. Australia's got a good balance of veterans coming in from their final team last year and new players such as Chris Morrow, who's really just lit it up in the friendlies rounds. So, got to watch out for him. What do you think Australia could do? Well, let's not talk about what Australia could do to win this game, because I think that's an over. Everyone's talking about that. It's just a given. Yeah. Let's talk about what can they do to lose this game.
Well, I would say they're one of the few teams in this tournament who really rely on the passing game. And so what I would say is that for them to lose this game, they need to be making bad passes, bad decisions, poor distribution from the back, all those factors, and then it's like a snowball going down the hill. Once things start going bad, players can get discouraged and start the chemistry will dissolve, and that's the last thing you want to happen.
Also, speaking very highly of Chase Haislip, it's very important that he has a good game. If he doesn't have a good game, the whole team could collapse around him. Also, Greg Haislip, a.k.a. Wisdom, his distribution in the friendlies has been questionable at best. So a lot of turnovers from Ghana could really give them a chance in this game to come away with 3 points or a point, which would just totally throw Group A.
It'd just be
black.
Yeah.
So now, Matthew, final prediction. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow in this game?
Final prediction, I've seen promise from Ghana. They're a good team. They're a strong team. But it's too late for them. I'm thinking Australia wins, and Australia wins by 3. I'd probably go and say 6-3.
6-3?
6-3.
That's a pretty good defensive showing from Ghana. I'm going to go ahead and say that Australia takes this one home 10-4.
10-4, wow.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Really blowing them out of the water. It's a bold prediction. Like your styles there.
Yeah. So, thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now we're going to analyze the next game, which is going to be Germany-Uruguay, which you will be playing in, sir.
You're so well. Let's go Germany. Big good game. Everyone should attend that one.
Yeah. Welcome back. Here, now we're going to analyze the Australia game with the captain of Australia, Chase Haislip. Chase, good to have you.
Nice to be here.
So, day before the big tournament starts, preparations aside, just what are your thoughts going into the game tomorrow?
We're definitely a little bit nervous, as the hosts, a lot of pressure. And Ghana's no walkover. They're a good team, and they got a lot of physicality. And any team with Andrew Benson in it with his goal-scoring touch is going to be tough to beat. But we're focused. We're driven after last year, coming up just short. We have pretty big aspirations for this year, and we're definitely really focused. So.
What do you think the future holds for you if you come away with anything less than 3 points from this match?
It'll be tough, and like you said when you were talking to Matthew, it definitely it throws the group into quite a wrench because we need these 3 points. At this point, we kind of assume that we're not going to get anything out of the Germany game because they're so talented, and
that's always a safe assumption.
Definitely, and we want to get maximum points in every game. So we're trying to take it one game at a time. But this is definitely one that we will look at on our calendar and say it's a must win. So
right, I would agree with that. Any you want to let us in on any strategy you're going to bring into the game, or?
Well, all I can tell you is that we're. I can tell you the starting lineup. It's going to be we'll play our classic diamond 1-2-1. It'll be Greg Hayslip in the back, Chris Moore and I in the midfield, and Kenny up top. It's just standard Australia. The way the Wallabies play. It's quick passing, movement into space, speed, finesse. I think Chris will probably drop a little bit deeper in the midfield, and I'll play a little bit more behind Kenny.
We've seen some things out of Chris's long shots that caused some trouble for goalkeepers. So sticking him in the back, that could give you guys an extra weapon.
Definitely, and he's such a good swimmer, and he's very physical, and he's good defensively. And I think that the one thing about bringing Chris Moore into the team and thing that he gives us is that I'm allowed to be a little bit freer. I can kind of play up top or in defense and distribute, and like Matt said, really control the game. So, and that's what we'll look for tomorrow is to just kind of take control early, hold the ball, and press Ghana and do a few mistakes. They're a new team that got some new players, so if they make mistakes early, we can capitalize. It'll definitely be good for us. So.
Some key news surfaced today. Joe, the Frustrator Blazer, will only be available for one game in the group stage. Effects that this is going to have on your team.
Well, we talked about this earlier. I think that the thing that you lose with Joe is late in the game if you need someone in there to play defense. He's someone that you would like to have. He's aggressive, he's long, he takes away a lot of the long balls. And last year against Wales, we struggled because they had so many passes over the top, and he wasn't there to deflect them or make life difficult for them. So we'll miss him a lot, and we'll have him back for some of the knockout routes. So that's definitely a positive, and when the games are more strategic. But as for tomorrow, although we will miss him, I think that we plan on going all out attack from the beginning anyway. So he's not someone that's going to be as big of a loss tomorrow. But we look forward to having him back for our Uruguay game.
All right, well, that's it for the analyzing the Australia-Ghana matchup, which is tomorrow. Everyone should attend. Now let's talk about the other game in your group.
Uruguay-Germany.
Yeah, Uruguay-Germany. It's going to have a big effect on how you guys play the rest of the tournament.
Definitely.
What are you looking at? What are you looking for in this game?
I think the big thing that we talked about, and this is a theme for most of the first round games, is it's kind of a traditional power against more of a new team that doesn't have as much chemistry but has a lot of athletes.
Seeing that a lot in this tournament.
Definitely.
Another example would be the New Zealand-Niger game, which is happening on Sunday.
I think that Germany has a lot of experience, and we haven't played against them in a World Cup match. We played against them a week ago. They have a lot of physicality, and they're able. And Matthew Hintz is so great as a striker. He's a great scorer. But the thing is that Uruguay has great swimmers, great athletes. So it's just one of those classic matchups of who wins over tactical acumen and experience versus like raw ability. So.
Do you think that could cause some problems with Uruguay having such good swimmers and Germany being so strong in the pool, with Matthew Hintz being such a pure power forward? I can see him getting caught up high in the pool and Graham Foreman making a run to help him out. And then with Uruguay's great swimmers, I can really see them leading counterattacks against them. Do you think that they're specifically vulnerable against that?
I think so. And we watched the tape the other day of the Germany-Argentina game last year where Germany lost, I think, 12-3. And that was a key theme is that they got caught in the back so often that Matthew Hintz went venturing forward. And I think that's one thing that they will definitely have to look out for. But I do think, you'll ask me for my prediction later, but I do think Germany has too much strength for Uruguay. But I think that the tournament schedule really plays well for Germany at this point, in that playing Uruguay first is good for them because they don't have as much chemistry and as much experience in the pool. So where they'll gain that when they play us and then Ghana, but Germany will have a chance to exploit that tomorrow.
Right. I agree with you. I don't think Germany is going to repeat their flop of their first game last year, which they did recover from and ended up winning the group. So they can bounce back if that does happen. Also, another thing Germany has going for them, and then we'll talk about Uruguay's pros, is the unique goalkeeper Prabat Friedland.
He's a great goalkeeper, and besides Quinn Hayslip and our goalkeeper, I'd put him towards the top of the world right now. He's so long, and he's such an asset for them in the deep end. As someone as someone who plays definitely a little bit closer to up top when we're attacking the deep end, I can tell you that he's a nightmare to play against, and he's one of the few goalkeepers that when I'm one-on-one with him, I don't, I have to really think about what I'm doing, and once they get inside your head, it becomes pretty difficult. He's an asset for them, and his distribution was spotty last year, especially in the semis, but I think that his head's in the game a little bit more this summer, and he'll definitely provide some benefits for them.
I think if you're Uruguay, you can definitely bank in. You need to press high and play those rebounds, because for Body, he's shown that he can stop shots with the best of them. But a lot of the times that ball will fall right back in front of the shooter. So if you can capitalize on that, I think Uruguay will have a good shot.
Definitely.
Pros for Uruguay. Who's their player that's really going to need to perform and win this game?
Well, we read the article on the website earlier, and Emmett Horton is someone that I would definitely circle if I were a German player. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's a swimmer, and he's got great hand-eye coordination. He's someone that is going to need to play well tomorrow to have a chance. And then the other player that we can talk about is William Kerrigan, and he'll probably play a little bit more defensively, and he's going to need to lock up on Matt Hintz tomorrow for them to have a chance. I think it'll be interesting to watch how Uruguay line up. If they choose to park the bus, I think that they could be in for quite the hiding against Germany, because the thing about the Germans is, and we played them last week, but the thing is if you let them control the game, then you'll struggle, because they're so good at muscling people out of the way. And the problem for them is getting in the attacking half. Once they're there, they're so dangerous. But if you can kind of press them back, which is something that we did, and try to control the ball, that's when they struggle. And I think that's something that Uruguay's going to need to do. They're going to want to play with them instead of parking the bus and trying to hope for a point tomorrow. That's just not going to work. So
I will speak for Germany, though. New Zealand last year, we beat them in the third-place game, but that was the different Germany. The Germany that's going to be playing tomorrow is going to be the Germany that beat us 8-3 last year in the group stage. So I can say that attack with Matthew Hintz and Graham Foreman, if you can't dig in your defense, they're just going to muscle it straight into the goal.
Right.
So that's really something that they can't let happen. Defense cannot break for Uruguay.
Yeah, and you gotta open it up. You gotta give yourself, or you've got to create space. You can't keep it packed in, because there's if it turns into a half full game where it's really slow, they'll kill you. You won't stand a chance. And you saw that last year when they played Oman, and that was only when they decided to open it up was when they get back in the game. So, man.
All right, prediction for the match. What do you think's happening tomorrow?
I think it'll be closer than people think. Uruguay is not getting a lot of love from a lot of the other pundits and the polls, but I think it'll be close. But I do think Germany will win. I think it'll turn out to be higher scoring, because I think Uruguay will choose to play an up and down game. But I think it'll be 12-8, 12-7.
12-8. Germany. I think that it's going to be a very two-sided game with a lot of ups and downs. I think German offense is going to dominate the shallow end, struggle more when they're defending the deep end and attacking the deep end. But I think there's going to be a lot of lead changes. I actually said earlier that I thought Uruguay was going to win this match. Upset. Still think it's possible. I think this is it's a high upset alert for me.
Definitely.
But on this show, I will say that I do think Germany is going to edge it out.
Yeah.
So very close, though. Very close game. Offensive power, I'm probably going to say, I agree with you, they'll probably net 12, 13.
Yeah.
But Uruguay's not going to be a joke. They're going to put in at least 7. So, all right. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
We're going to analyze the very highly anticipated New Zealand-Niger game next, which has drawn a lot of headlines online, a lot of trash talk from the Nigerians, and we'll see what happens there. But first, we'll talk about Matthew Hintz. We'll bring him on, captain of Germany. He'll talk about the game tomorrow.